So, opportunities, lots of tummy work. So, did someone just say hello? No, we're good to go. Okay, so lots of tummy work here. Can get quite tiring. So, at any point, if you need to, just kind of drop yourself into this position, give your tummy muscles a bit of a rest, and then join back in when you're ready. But alongside lots of tummy work, we're also going to be working on strengthening the shoulders as we bear weight through them. So without further ado, let's just have a little bit of a warm up. So I still want you to think about those key points that we think about when we stand. So making sure you've got equal weight going through both feet, and making sure your feet, your knees and your hips are all stacked up. So you've got two parallel lines running next to one another, and you're just thinking about those knees being slightly bent. And I just want you to rest your hands either side of you so you feel nice and comfortable. And then from there, just think about pushing through the heels of your hands. And as you do that, you can melt your shoulder blades down away from your ears, and you're just lengthening tall through the crown of your head, as if a helium balloon is allowing you to float up towards the sky. And then from there, we're just going to take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we're just going to look over to one shoulder. Now, if your wrists do get tired at any point, remember you could always make a fist and just take your weight through your knuckles, but it is a good opportunity just to strengthen those wrists up. Okay, breath in and out, and we're going to look over the opposite shoulder. Good, and again, just looking from side to side, just a nice chance just to loosen off that neck as we warm those shoulders up, as they start to take the weight of the upper part of our bodies. Okay, a little bit further this time with each look. Stay tall, keep those shoulders melting down away from your ears, keep your helium balloon floating you up towards the ceiling, and then come back to the center, and then just take your weight out of your hands, give those wrists a little bit of a circle. Lovely. Okay, let's just roll through those shoulders now. So you're just going to sit in a comfortable position. If you need to just support your body weight on your hands, that's fine, or if you can do that without, go for it. Lovely. And then just change that direction with those shoulders. Brilliant. Okay, and then we're going to come down to our pelvic tilts now. So I'm just going to turn side on, because our pelvic tilt is really going to fire up the work that we need for our tummy muscles. So when you're sitting on your seat bones, you're rolling your pelvis forward. You're in that kind of forward bucket position, and then we're just going to roll off the back of the pelvis. As soon as you do that, you should start to feel those tummy muscles start to kick in. And then we sit up nice and tall again, and then we roll back. So just do a tiny move. It's not a full roll down, it's just literally working on that pelvic tilt. And you might feel as you come into that forwards pelvic tilt, those hip flexor muscles start to work hard. If they're working too hard, you can just straighten your knees a little bit. But it is all about these muscles now, around the groin, around the tummy. We're starting to get them to work hard. And I promised you we were going to have a rest, and you've already worked out that I was lying. So sitting down doesn't mean easy work. And it can be quite hard to just sit with your legs, especially if the back of your legs are quite tight. So hopefully we'll feel like that eases off a little bit at the end of today. Okay, so back to your neutral position. You're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to bring those hands over at shoulder height, melt the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're going to take it into that roll down. So roll off your seat bones, tuck your tailbone underneath, this time going a little bit further than we did with our pelvic tilt, until you feel that tummy start to work. And then we bring those shoulders forwards towards the hips, tightening everything up, and we sit up nice and tall again. Keep it simple, let's go again. So we roll down. Imagine you're just smoothing your spine along the mat, one bone at a time. And then we send the shoulders forwards and stack back up over the hips. So I want you to think about that roll down, lengthening your tummy muscles, and that stack up coming from your rib cage, driving it down as you tighten those tummy muscles. Now keep going with those. Any point you can, just hug those knees. These are going to get quite tiring. Got quite a few to do, so take those little rests as you need to. I'm going to show you what that looks like from side on. We roll down, we make a C shape through the spine, and then we roll those shoulders forward so that C shape can come back up, and then we finish nice and tall. So that helium balloon always floats us up, and then the helium just floats away so that we can roll back and then come up again. Let me see how you're getting on with those. Now remember those parallel lines with your knees. Don't let those knees start to drop in. Keep those knees, hips and spines all in line. Oh, it's lovely to see a few more people have joined us. Good evening, everyone. We are looking good. Okay, let's take that and pause there. So I just want you to all get your legs into a comfortable position. You can stretch your legs out. You can sit with your legs crossed, or you can hug your knees. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of work for the oblique muscles now, the ones that kind of sit a little bit more to the side of those deep, big tummy muscles. So we're going to add a twist in between those roll downs. So we roll down, we roll up, nice and tall, we twist, trying to keep the pelvis neutral. So think about those seat bones. Can you press your seat bones down into the mat, especially pressing the one that you're twisting away from? So you don't want your bottom to lift on that side. Keep your bottom glued towards the mat as you twist. Now remember, options to come out. If you're getting a little bit tired, you can sit in a position that's comfortable for you and then reset. Try and work in rounds of 6 to 8 and then have a little pause, because we're here for a while. So don't feel like you need to build up and do lots. Looks good, Helen, well done. Lovely, Fiona. That's it, Chris, take that break and join back in when you're ready. Okay, brilliant, and pause there for me. Right, next one, we're gonna go long and we're gonna hold it, okay? So we roll back, we hold that roll back. So don't go too low, even if you're just rolling off your seat bones, and then we're gonna add that twist from there, keeping that roll back off of your pelvis. So obviously the lower you go, the harder the tummy will work. Side to side, maybe 3 on each side, come up and rest, or go for a few more. We are going to be changing up soon, so last little push through these tummy muscles. Keep it going, just think left to right. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up to sit and just hang out in a position that is nice and comfortable for you. Okay, I did hardly half what you did and I felt those, so I'm sure those tummies are going to be feeling it tomorrow. Right, let's give the tummies a rest and we're going to work through the arms now. So what I want you to do is just place your hands behind you with your hands roughly at kind of waist distance, with your fingertips pointing towards your bottoms. Now we're going to work the tricep muscle now, and that's the muscle that sits on the back of the upper arm. And so to do that, feet are glued down towards the mat, keep your elbows tucked in, and you bend your elbows so that your back lowers down, and then you push through the heels of the hands so that your back lifts up. So it shouldn't feel like your tummy's working, it's those arms that are lowering you down. Now again, the lower you go, the harder you work. So you could just be here, or you could be coming all the way down and all the way up. Keep the necks nice and long. So as you go down, you don't disappear into your neck. Keep that neck nice and long and really push through the heels of those hands as you come back up. We're going to work these triceps hard tonight. We're going to revisit them. So let's get them good. Pin your elbows together. Imagine that you've got a rubber band tied around your elbows and it tightens as you lower down and then loosens slightly as you come up. So those elbows aren't traveling out to the side, they're traveling back towards the ground or towards the mat. Sit back up, circle those wrists and go again. These get spicy, these muscles can get quite weak, we don't use them that often, so it's a really good opportunity to strengthen up. Hi Lucy Lou, didn't see you earlier. Good, welcome everybody. That's it, brilliant. Take those rests and join in, looks good. Chris, remember that neck, don't squash your peach, keep your neck nice and long, little space between your chin and your chest. You've got it, lovely. Okay, take this next one and hold somewhere about midway. Hold, and you can either hold or you can do little pulses. Whatever you do, we're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push back up to sit, and let's stretch out. We're going to reach one hand up towards the ceiling. We're going to touch down between the shoulder blades. Woo! You can add a little push over the top if you want to. You might just find trying to reach those shoulder blades is hard enough. Lovely. Let's go up again and then swap with the other hand. So reach down towards the shoulder blades, maybe adding a little pressure over the top. You'll thank me for that one tomorrow. Okay, good. And just shake out those arms. Okay, so we've worked the upper tummy with our roll downs. Now we're going to work the lower tummy. So we're going to come back to that sitting position. Okay, legs out in front. Arms propped behind you in a position that whatever's comfortable really. I tend to find fingertips pointing out to the side is best for my wrists, but do what works for you. And think about pushing your body, lifting up towards the ceiling, that helium balloon now floating your chest away towards the ceiling. Okay, from here we're going to think about scissors. So tabletop position, we float one leg up and down. Now you're not going to be able to lift your knee directly over your hip, but we're just working into that lifting and lowering, and we're aiming to keep that pelvis level. So those 2 buttons underneath your hips, we're pressing our hips into them as one foot lifts up. Try not to float that hip away. Lovely. Working hard through the top line of the body. Try not to lose that lovely long neck. Push away from your mat. Lovely stuff. Once you've done about 6 to 8 on each side, come out of that position, give it a stretch, and then go again. Brilliant. Now for those of us that know how we make scissors harder, we go faster. So as one leg lifts, the other leg lowers, and you should really feel your lower tummy just engage a little bit harder as we do that. That's not for you, just take it slow, one leg at a time. And even if your foot is just kind of hovering off the mat, that's good enough for me. This is just about distributing that weight into one leg, trying to keep that pelvis level and keep it going. Okay, we're here for 10. Whatever pace, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Get into a comfortable position just to rest. I find that quite tight on my hip flexors, so we'll have a good stretch of those shortly. Okay, back into that position again. This time we're going to work on the leg stretch. So hands either side or behind your back. You have got a tray of drinks resting just across the bottom of your waist now, and you're going to take one of those drinks and you're going to place it on your left knee, and you're going to slide your right foot along the floor. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. As you lengthen, just push through the heels of your hands slightly, and then fold that knee back in. And repeat on the opposite side. So your glass goes onto the right knee and you lengthen away. All about precision of movement. So remember those 2 parallel lines that we spoke about that create our position for our legs? We're going to slide our feet along those lines and make it a lovely, smooth, accurate movement. Not the most challenging of movements strength-wise, so we're going to really work on that precision, and we really work on the top line of the body. Now, let's think about our pelvic floor here. So as we lengthen the foot away, I want you to think about tightening your pelvic floor. And as we release that pelvic that foot and slide the heel towards the bottom, just relax that pelvic floor. Breath in to prepare, breath out as you tighten and lengthen. And breath in as you come back. Lovely. Hopefully you're finding this not too much of a challenge, just giving those hip flexors a little bit of a lengthen as we stretch the foot away. Let me come and see how you're doing with that. I want you to not forget about the top part of that body though, some nice long necks. That's it, Lucy, looking good. Well done, Ashin, that looks great. Julia, Lydia, looks good. Everyone's looking really good. So we'll do one more on your right leg. Stretch that leg away. And then we're going to bring the hands from behind us. Take a breath in, reach up towards the ceiling. Lengthen through that helium balloon. Keep that length as you reach down towards your knees, shin or foot. and then just hold that forwards fold. So you're reaching down to one leg, opposite knee is bent, and just let the back of the neck relax now and breathe deeply. If you're holding your breath, you're not going to allow those muscles to lengthen. So let's all join together for 3 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Super. Bring yourself out of that forwards fold and let's swap sides. So start with a deep breath in. That breath in lifts you up towards the ceiling. Keep that length of your spine. Think about all of those bones in your body just separating from one another. And then we breathe out and reach forwards, aiming to stretch past the foot. Don't worry if you don't get there when you reach down. Imagine there's a nice piece of chocolate cake just past your foot and you're trying your best to reach for it, but then rest in a comfortable stretch so that you continue to breathe. And we're going to breathe in and out, and in and out, and in. Final breath out. As you breathe out, I just want you to stretch your right foot now. So you've got both legs straightened along the length of your mat. Keep your toes pointed and reach a little bit deeper if you can. Use a lovely breath out to get yourself there. And deep breath in and out. And in and out, and then slowly bring yourself back up to sit. Good stuff. Okay, we are firing through. We're over halfway. So we've done lots of work now just to really prepare the shoulders and the neck. Let's step it up a gear for the upper half of the body. And this exercise has also given us a chance to open up those hip flexors that get a little bit tight with all of that work we've just done. So back into that position with the hands either side of the waist with the fingertips pointing to the sides of your mat. We begin by pushing through the heels of the hands that allows us to lift our breastbone away from the mat. And then we're just imagining a hook attached to our belt buckle that lifts us up towards the ceiling. We keep looking forwards, maybe even a gentle nuzzle of the chin towards the chest, open through the fronts of the hips, and we either lift and lower straight back down, or we lift and hold. Check in on the position of that pelvis. Make sure you haven't dipped your hip to either side. We're going to keep that pelvis nice and level. We're going to hold for as long as we can. That may be shorter for some than others. The aim really is to push through the heels of the hands to lift the chest away from the mat. And then if you want to work a little bit harder, we just do alternate heel raises without spilling that tray of drinks on the front of our pelvis. So when you've had enough of those, sit down, give those wrists a stretch, set everything back up again, and then let's go again. So lots of options here. Your options really depend on how long you're going to hold the lift. And if you're going to hold the lift, do you want to add those little heel raises? So we've got 3 options that you could work through. I'm going to come and see how you are doing with those. Everybody go half an inch with those bottoms. Go on. There we go. Looking great. Really nice. Done with a smile. Good work, Liz. So remember, just the heels can lift unless you want to work super hard, Jill. I'm impressed with that version. You've gone for version 4. Lovely. Remember to keep those knees, feet and hips in line. Try not to let your knees sort of drop into one another as your hips are lifted. Okay, I'm going to give you another sort of 10 seconds or so if you want to do one more. Otherwise, if you are finished, that's fine. These look beautiful. Julia, that is great. Chris, that is wonderful. Really nice. Everybody, good work. Okay, good. Lovely. And when you're done, again, just sit yourself down and hug those knees. Now, I promised you that we were going to revisit those triceps. So hang out there for a little bit longer, and then when you're ready, we're going to set back up with those fingertips pointing towards the bottom. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing, but I'm going to give you another level if you wish to. So let's all just start whenever you're ready to work into lowering those forearms towards the mat. So here is your first option. Your second option is the legs lift. And as we lower down, we straighten the legs away. And as we push up, we bend those knees. So quite a big step up. There's nowhere in between with this one. It's all or nothing, and it's really up to you whether you want to go for that all. And it's actually not all or nothing. That's unfair of me to say that, because we're still working those triceps quite hard. Okay, whatever you're doing, you're working hard. Good for you. But we're going to go 6 more, 5 more, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Let's go for a hold. Legs can be extended, or you could just be here. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Whew. Now give those legs a good hug. And then this time we're going to stretch those triceps out through the front of the body. So you're just going to reach one hand across and then gently push your forearm so that your hand reaches behind your back. Lovely. And swap sides. And you'll be pleased to know we're going to change position for those legs. So we're going to come into our kind of sweeped position. So you've got one leg horizontal across the body and the other leg behind, and that just feels lovely to open up the front of that hip. Okay, now you're going to pop your hand down on the side that your leg is in front. Hopefully that makes sense. And we're going to go into our mermaid stretch now. So reach up and over, and as you do that you can kind of just roll your pelvis forwards a little bit, and that feels really nice. Keep the hips down, but just push into those that pelvis to feel that open up. Just gonna hold here. You can be active through that arm that you're bearing your weight through, so push through the heels of that hand, and just lovely, lovely opening the side line of the body. And then we're going to take this into our thread the needle. So if you need to, just reach your hand a little bit further away, and then take that underneath. And again, just hold. Oh, it feels gorgeous. And as you sink into that position, just see if you can go a touch further. Your body should just gently open up. Don't force it though. This isn't a position you want to force, especially if you've got tight hips. Okay, and then come back to the center, and let's just do one more mermaid stretch. This time for the mermaid stretch, I'm going to give you the option of just lifting the hips off the mat, and you're just going to really squeeze your bottom to push your hips forwards, and you get a really lovely stretch down the front of that back leg. Those are those muscles, those hip flexors that can tend to work quite hard with the seated work we started off with. I'm going to just hang out a little bit longer here because I really need this today. And you all look wonderful. Okay, and then just sit your bottom down if you are in that option. And then we're just going to sweep the legs around to the opposite side now. So the leg that was back becomes the leg that was in front, and the leg that was behind is the opposite side now. So we just reach up and over. Again, hips stay down, but you can just kind of roll your pelvis forwards. So you're trying to sort of bear your weight through the inner side of that back leg, and you should just feel that kind of opening of the front of the hip. Don't force it, just do what feels comfortable for you. If this is just not a comfortable position, which it may not be, then you can just sit here and you can sit here, okay? Now let's go through to our thread the needle. So reach your hand a bit further down your mat, and then just take that through, reach forward, reach forwards, reach behind. You're glancing up to your back wall or up towards the ceiling. Feels really lovely, twisting through the spine, holding that position. We're remembering to breathe because we know that our breathing helps us. And then we come back to the center, and then we reach up if you want to, and just go a little bit deeper into that mermaid stretch so that those hip flexors get a nice stretch. Remember those shoulders, don't lose that neck in your shoulders. Looking great, everybody. Really nice. Super, and then slowly come back down. Okay, we're going to sit with the knees bent, this time with the feet together, and then just bring the soles of your feet together and just let your knees drop out to the side. Now, some of you might only have this amount of movement. That is absolutely fine. We're just going to hang in this position a little bit and use what we call a contract relax technique to see if we can get a little bit more hip opening. So you can either place the hands or the elbows. I tend to like to kind of hold onto my feet and use my elbows, and I'm going to push in with my knees as I push out with my elbows. So I'm not creating any movement, but I'm creating a sense of tension on the inner side of my thigh, and we're going to hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that tension, and you should feel your knees just drop slightly further away from your elbows. Let's go again with that. So when you're ready to begin to push up with your knees and down with your elbows, working only about 50%, but we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then drop those legs, knees away. Lovely. If you want to work a bit harder, just bring your heart towards your feet. Don't worry if it's a long way away. Really nice. So we're going to close down this evening with an option to do some mindfulness. Now, I want you to feel comfortable in your mindfulness. So sit in a position that works for you. If you need to take some back support against a sofa or a table or what have you, that's fine. If you'd prefer to lie down, go for it. My aim would be for you to sit cross-legged, because we've just worked on opening those hips. If you can, please do, but I know not all of us have the amount of mobility in that hip that needs. And we're going to place the backs of the hands on the inside of those knees, and we're going to work on sitting up nice and tall. Now, I think most of you have gone through this with me. It's our finger touching. So we're going to work through the fingertips, pressing the pad of the thumb towards each fingertip, second, third, fourth and fifth, and then back fourth, third and second. And every pressure triggers a breath in or out. So I'll just talk you through that first couple rounds, and then you can go at your own pace. So it really works nicely if you're happy to close your eyes or just focus on a spot in front of you. So taking a deep breath in, try and breathe mainly through your nose, and just gently press your thumb and your index finger together. And then breathe out as you touch your thumb and your middle finger together. Breathing in, thumb to fourth finger. And breathing out, thumb to little finger. And breathing in, thumb to fourth finger. And out, thumb to middle finger. And breathing in, thumb to second finger. And just repeat that again for me, just going at your own pace. And the aim really is that your mind is focusing on the movement of that gentle pressure between your thumb and your fingertips. So that if any other thoughts enter your mind, you're just letting them pass through. Acknowledge that thought and any emotion that comes with it. But then as soon as you can, just draw your attention back to that lovely gentle pattern and pressure, and that reminder to breathe as we gently press. So I'm just going to stay quiet so you can really focus on that for maybe 1 or 2 more rounds. I'm just going to bring your awareness back to the room, but please do feel free if you want to just switch your camera off and just stay in this state for a little bit longer. Don't worry about coming to say goodbye, or you can pause and then come back and join in your own time with some of this lovely restorative breathing exercise.